Calgary Humane Society. How can I help you?
Hello. I'm calling to report that someone abandoned a little chihuahua. She looks really in bad shape and she's on the side of the road. I'm a little bit concerned because she seems to be in famine stage and I think she's not gonna make it tonight.
Thousands of cats and dogs are either abandoned or abused in Alberta. We may not get to see our streets full of homeless animals, but the percentage of rescued and surrendered pets is alarming.
There are laws that say what animal cruelty is, and there are what animal people think animal cruelty is. So the most obvious things are going to be things like beating the animal, not feeding it, keeping it chained up. But there's also more important things that animals need, especially social animals like companion animals, cat and dogs. So they need to have people to form relationships with. They need other animals to play with and socialize with. So that's another really big thing that I think as we learn more about animals that is starting to be encompassed in animal cruelty to not only address their physical needs but also their social and psychological needs as well.
I believe that cruelty is not giving a dog its basic needs. At the end of the day, a dog is an animal. I love dogs to death, but they are an animal and we need to treat them appropriately. So making sure, obviously, food, water, shelter.
Causing an animal to be in distress, whether that be from inadequate shelter, inadequate food or water, inadequate ventilation or space.
When I was working at Springbank Pet Resort, it's a boarding facility, and I worked in the boarding area of things. And there was one dog that we got in, and I don't remember what breed of dog he was, but he was on the smaller side. And I read his file, and he had been rescued from a home that had shot him, kicked him, left him outside in the middle of the freezing winter, and just abandoned him.
I think the Milk River dogs are probably the most salient in that there was the 200 C's from that farm that were all starving, living on chains, not socialized, not fed, and the condition that they came in was terrible. They were all about 50% underweight. It looked like a lot of them, if not most of them, probably wouldn't have even made it.
I've been doing this for about 11 years, so there's certainly those that stick out. I mean, one will always stick with me, both from the perspective of the cruelty involved and our performance in being able to lay the charges and get the conviction. Back in 2014, there was a husky and a cat that were killed, their mouths bound with tape and left in an alley. That case was very complex to investigate. We had almost zero leads, so it took forensic investigation techniques, DNA, and stuff like that in order to build a circumstantial case enough to the point where we were able to get a confession out of the owner and receive an Alberta record jail sentence in that case.
I believe animal cruelty is despicable. I don't know. If you don't want a dog, don't get a dog. It's that simple. I don't understand why someone would make the effort to bring an animal into their lives to deliberately hurt it. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Adoption is important because these are salient beings and they all need a home, and there are so many animals out there that don't have a home. So when we contribute to pet overpopulation by supporting pet stores, backyard breeders, puppy mills, where they are contributing to the pet overpopulation problem, in a non-productive way. They're not even being responsible or ethical about it. We certainly don't, as adopters and animal lovers, we certainly don't want to be contributing to that as well when there are so many homeless animals that are needing a place to go.
We seize a lot of animals. A lot of animals are surrendered here by people who can't take care of their animals any further, and something has to happen with those animals. And we don't euthanize animals for space or for time, so we need to get them out into the public somehow, and we do that through adoption. So it's we certainly strongly encourage people to look at adopting a shelter or a rescue animal before going to a breeder.
There are so many dogs in rescues, in SPCAs, in humane societies. So when you go and buy a dog from a breeder, be it a reputable breeder or a backyard breeder, you're adding to the demand of young puppies from breeders. When there's hundreds, if not thousands of dogs in rescues and humane societies all across Canada. So when you don't adopt a dog, those dogs are stuck in these rescues and these humane societies, and at the end of the day, what are these places supposed to do with them? So the less you adopt, the more dogs don't have a chance at a life. So adoption is very important because we need the dogs from the humane societies, the SPCAs, and the rescues to find loving forever homes.
Until one has loved an animal, a part of one's soul remains unawakened. Anatole, France. An animal life is in your hands. Adopt.